Welcome everyone to React Native Weekly, your weekly wrap-up of the most interesting things which happened in React Native this week. So I'm gonna try and make videos every Friday just to wrap up the week and talk about interesting things which happened in React Native. This week was a really big one because of App.js Conf, which is a conference which brings together some of the big names in React Native, and it's mostly based around everything involving React and React Native. So the conference itself was amazing. It's organized by Software Mention in Poland. All the big names like I mentioned, they were there, and we did hear a lot of announcements from different companies which are heavily involved in the React Native community. Companies like Expo, for example, Software Mention. Some of the bigger announcement I can say was like Expo being opened up to more React Native apps, so you don't have to have a Expo app to use React Native. To use React Native components. This, like, also the opposite is true as well. You don't have to have Expo within your React Native app to be able to use some of the libraries that Expo provides. So you can swap and different components and mix and mesh until you have the right combo for your app. So this has been positive news for the React Native community, because it's always difficult to choose whether are you gonna go fully into Expo or you wanna stay still with a React Native CLI. So this was welcoming news. Also, we saw that the announcement of the Expo router, which is something very unique, something very first of its kind for React Native, also for mobile development in general as well. So by using file-based routing to move around your app. So that was really cool and really awesome, and something that even Bacon has been working on for a while, and the Expo team is actually bringing in like some really positive change into this community. We saw the announcements as well of Metro announcing support for symlinks, which is something that's been like forgotten for a while, and it's been stagnant, so that was really welcoming. Skia as well, we saw the potentially reunification of the two Skia libraries, and also we saw some more interesting things you can do with Skia. There's a lot which was discussed in the talk itself, or in the conference in general, which was over 2 days. So I've placed some of the interesting things in a Medium post, which is linked in the description, so you can just have a look at that if you want some of the content there. But I'm also going to be providing videos, creating content around the conference itself. Some of the announcements, I'm going to just redo them myself, and you're going to see them in this channel, so you should subscribe if you're not subscribed for more content like that. So moving away from App.js Conf, so we're gonna move to Callstack as well. So Callstack made a really important they showed a really important demo or proof of concept for super apps in React Native. So you know how nowadays that sometimes like you have a small app and you can see that it's actually growing to something bigger, to the point whereby like now you have multiple services within your app which could be their own standalone apps. So you can have payments, messaging, social networks, booking. So Callstack showed a demo of how you can actually have a super app in React Native, so where all these other services are actually their own individual service, so their own individual app. For example, payments can be its own individual app, messaging can be its own individual app, and then they can all be pulled in together into one app, which is a super app. And each of those individual services can be they can be in their own repo, or you can have all of them in the same mono repo. And one of the best part about this, like, you're splitting up the app into several smaller apps, and you keep your app reusable. So like the app is reusable into libraries. So it's actually something which is like, especially on bigger apps, you can actually something that you should really consider. So you can have multiple teams working independently. If you have a team which is working faster, they can actually work independent. So that's also like linked to the video and the GitHub repo. To see that the mono repo is also in the description if you wanna have a look at that. So it's pretty cool. The third announcement that we're gonna talk about is BlueSky. So BlueSky is, I can say it's a social media network or app or protocol. So it's more decentralized. It's something like which has been blowing up on Twitter, and it was announced like a few weeks back that it's actually powered by React Native and Expo, to be specific. And it was mainly done by one React Native developer or React developer, Peter. So this week it came out that like they're actually open sourcing the code for the front end. So that means you can actually go to the code, you can contribute, you can see how the app is structured. So BlueSky is actually affiliated with Twitter in the sense that it's actually the key people who funded the platform itself. Jack Dorsey, Jack Gerber, who were heavily involved in Twitter. But then the original story of it is that like it was spun out of Twitter because it was something that Twitter was working on, which is a social media network protocol. So, but then by the nature of it being decentralized, they're trying to be more open sourced. So this was welcoming news for the React Native community, also to see like a really big social media platform going bullish on React Native. Is really cool. I have had a look at the code. It's actually using React Native. So like in the later days, I'm gonna have a video whereby we just walk through the code and you just see how they structured that code and see how does an app, which is one of the most anticipated apps in 2023. So we're just gonna have a look at how it is structured. So hopefully that will spark some ideas within you, and we're just gonna play around with it. So if you're also looking forward to that as well, just hit that subscribe button, so the video will be coming up shortly. So to wrap up on the last section, normally I will point out some of the interesting libraries or library that I think you should check out. And then in this case, the library I want you to check out, or which I found interesting, is called React Native Entity Extraction. So it uses MLKit, which is Google's machine learning kit, which is integrated with Firebase. Basically, this library allows you to extract key details within a text which is provided. For example, you can extract things like the date, the address, the time, the email, flight numbers, ISBN numbers, phone numbers, so key information within a text which is provided, and it can work offline. So this is something which is really cool and it's quite handy, especially if you want your users to be able to copy something very fast and paste it somewhere else, or your app wants to analyze something so that you can do another secondary action. So that's cool. I'll also put a link to this in the description as well. So I hope you really enjoyed this weekly roundup or weekly catch up for React Native. So if you like this format or you're looking for more videos like this, give it a like, and on next Friday we're gonna have another video. Cool. Have a great one. Keep safe. Cheers.